Morning.
They keep telling me chill, queen. Let them wait for the reveal, sing. Now I'm about to put me in multiple spots. It's lyrical pox in your grill, meaning I'm ill. I will not deal. I am from Southside of DC. That means I only know how to go until I'm on a marquee getting properly built. Cause stop it, a part of my stock on my bill, no ma'am. I'ma keep this campaign up till rock for breads and grains. The popular drill slogan, that's word, goddamn, see. I want you to levitate. My shit don't just medicate. When your quote got a vocal leg abstaining for rap, nigga magically celebrate. I would try to cut these lightweight MCs to a suitable size. I'm approximately 1/4 human, the rest is unidentified. I'ma take up every white space with some black characters, reversing to the fight. Embody any yada to take it out from me, I keep the hearses outside. Beware, real rap run through my veins, I'm either a female form. Y'all might get ghetto, what got this shit sonically leaked to the retail torn. See y'all won't win, try to box me in, I'm out of here like G-Form. And even my mumbles like rumbles and conquering jumpers, oh this is your born. This is for real, my crew is a very big deal. Everything we crave is 24K like the gold inside my grill. I can reveal my sources, I be a real rap sources. Niggas your fusion, not what you used to, huh? We come over your whole damn meal. Got it, gang, gang, gang. 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 You ready? Mama said I could be anything. That was the dope part. But I grew up planning my dreams is downstream from the dope spot. And I'm a descendant of the kings and low-key fiends of the coca. From streets where the police deep with the holy skin is the color of mocha. Hear me out. I've been through too much and I'm too grown to play around with y'all. Now I'm a wild lad every chance I get my rhyme to live me so animal. Every bit I see, sick of much too deep for the next breed of these amateurs. Fuck freshman classes, my texts are classic. She music legend like amethyst. Whoa, they scared of this black girl magic. My heritage packed well baggage. I learned this fly shit from my DNA to a T. I say rock snapping. Beauty irrelevant. This is not pageants. I'm a rap dragon. Every time I open my trap is fine. Your outlook ending up tragic. Trust me. I do this for MLKF, for homies with criminal past. This middle of passage, rhythmic mash, a bridge of Trinidad, intergalactic aiming. Bars laden with alien cadence, bringing on enemy flags. It's mayhem. My shit have been down since day one, ready to take on the planet. Segway, 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 segway. This is for real. My crew is a very big deal. Everything we crave is 24K like the gold inside my grill. I can reveal my sources. I be a real rap sources. Niggas your fusion, not what you used to, huh? We come over your whole damn meal. Got it, gang, gang, gang. Got it, gang, gang, gang. Got it, gang, gang, gang. Got it, gang, gang, gang.
Hey, 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 how are y'all doing this evening? This is Divine Femin9 discussion with your host, Plump Queen, and the goddess of information, Nexus and I, Oreolu. I appreciate you giving me your time and your energy. We are going to bring my sister in. I don't know, you should add yourself, but we are going to get this popping. I know it has been a while since you have seen us both together, but you know, me and Nexus, we be out here, we've been putting boots on the ground, we've been going places, you know what I'm saying, in our communities, doing the things that we need to do, and now we are going to come back, you know what I'm saying, and spread all this knowledge and share with you. So I'm going to try to get her in here. For some reason, Nexus, it's not allowing me to add you, so send that request so we can get this started. But as we get her here, talk about what we're going to be talking about. So this is, like I said in the flyer, this is a feather ruffler. This topic we're going to be talking about is actually a few topics mixed in one, but it's about the LGBTQ community. Now, I'm going to say for me, this is a subject that I have been a tad bit afraid to talk about because, you know, I love everyone. I have friends, family, you know what I'm saying, people that I care about that live, you know what I'm saying, this lifestyle. So I never want to offend the people that I love, but at the same time, we all live in this world together. You know, we all need to learn how to respect one another's spaces, how we do things, and the only way for us to do that is if we actually talk about it. So I'm going to be giving my thoughts, so shall she. And hopefully at the end of this, we can have some type of overstanding, because my biggest thing is about unity. And, I personally do not care about what folks do in their bedroom, because that it has nothing to do with me. And to be quite honest, it does not help us, to figure out how we can coexist with one another, our differences. So I'm excited that her and I are on the same wavelength with this, and we're going to talk about it. So we're adding her in here. We're going to put up some nines so this thing can work. Y'all already know how Facebook be, but y'all gonna get this, by any means necessary. And here she is. Peace to Star.
Peace, love, divine light, everybody. Good evening.
How are ya, Sistar? How are
I'm
ya?
great. Good to
I'm
be here.
here. I'm so glad to hear that. Well, yes, it's been a while. I have not seen you since my wonderful trip to Albany, Georgia with you. So how have you
Right.
been?
I've been great. Things have been going well. Like it's been a whole lot of progressive things happening, with lame voices, my son and baseball, things of that nature. So overall everything is good though. Like, yeah.
Well, that is awesome with the sauce on it. I'm so glad to hear it. So we're gonna get right into this.
Yeah,
So,
let's go.
I'm sure the people are
Let me
waiting and
turn
ready
you
for
up.
us to talk about it. So, like we were discussing, over the phone when we was talking about bringing up this topic, we both had, certain situations where we thought that need to be talked about. So, I'm gonna let you have the floor first, and pick which situation that you feel that you want to tackle first, and we're
Okay,
gonna
all
just roll
right.
in there and let it ride.
All right, so pretty much we know that the whole month of June has pretty much been dedicated to Pride Month, right? Pride awareness, Pride celebration, Pride embracing, education, the whole nine, and so I did a show on Voices Radio last week about the LGBT community and kind of just educating our brothers and sisters on what those letters actually stand for, what they mean, what they represent, and then to giving a little ancient African spiritual, insight as into, those brothers and sisters who are, a part of the LGBT community in their roles and places historically in our communities as African Americans and in our culture. All right, so knowing and understanding that yes, these type of brothers and sisters have always existed. However, from a spiritual perspective and a spiritual standpoint, this was their role, and pretty much just talking about how over time and how in the 21st century, the age in which we live in right now, how this particular sexual energy, if you will, for or these particular types of sexual beings have in a way been exploited. You know what I'm saying? And how it's been taken and made to be into kind of almost like, for lack of better terms, right now, like a freak show type deal. And not to say they shouldn't have their own celebrations, what I'm saying, and times when they come together and they unite, like witches and other people and black people and Jews and people of all different beliefs and all different spectrums, what I'm saying, come together in unity and celebration, to raise awareness or to fight for whatever cause they feel is near and dear to them, so not to exclude that, but just to shine light and kind of awaken our people to knowing, like, yes, they existed. However, again, like we were saying, what they were doing in their bedrooms wasn't anybody's business. And whether you're heterosexual or homosexual, it shouldn't matter what you're doing in your bedroom, because those type of things are supposed to be sacred anyway. You know what I'm saying? To a certain degree. And so even when we looked at it from a historical standpoint, it's like these beings weren't necessarily caught up in their feelings, and it's something that we've lost touch with, is even knowing ourselves, right? So when we know ourselves and we know who we are, historically that kind of gets passed down, but it's been a disconnect in information, and so now we're back in this information age, and we're starting to reawaken and things of that nature and find ourselves in our places. And so what we're kind of seeing right now is this major wave of individuals who have a place, have a purpose, more so than just in the physical, but trying to connect with that on a spiritual level. And in a world in society where now they've become these outcasts and they've been demonized, you know what I'm saying, if you will, to a degree. And so that's a part of the reason why we see some of the out lavish lifestyles in them being what we like to call extra and over dramatic, and putting certain emphasis on certain motions and movements or words, like over dramatizing and bringing a certain level of attention, because they're trying to find that place where they belong and to be accepted and to be loved just like everybody else, regardless of their sexuality. And so I even encouraged us as heterosexual beings, to consider taking breaks or fast from sexual engagement and sexual intercourse, and actually learning to channel those feelings and emotions into other things, you know what I'm saying? And seeing that manifestation.
Okay, I'm thinking there's something going on with this is what happens when we on Facebook, but when we get her back, I totally agree with what she is saying. You know, I personally, like I said, I have friends, what I'm saying, that live this lifestyle. I have family members, what I'm saying, in my immediate family, who live this lifestyle, and a lot of people don't know, like being gay or being homosexual is the new black. Okay, she's going to come back in, you're gonna fix that up, but there's a lot of truth to that, because at the end of the day, like she's saying, everybody wants to be represented. You know what I'm saying? Let's wind it back.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay, okay. So I was just
Is
now I hear the feedback.
If it's not one thing, it's
You have
another.
headphones?
I do have headphones. Okay, I'm gonna get my headphones and I'm coming back.
No problem. Okay. So while she gets that together, like I was saying, everyone wants to be represented in this world. Like she said, sex is supposed to be sacred between you and the person that's doing it. So that's not supposed to be anybody's business. But when you're talking about being represented, we all want that. Everybody wants representation. This is why us as, black people, we go hard. You know what I'm saying? This is why you have, extremists who are just extra blackety black, 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 because we don't have proper representation, in a country that we live in, a country that we help build. You know what I'm saying? There are probably 1,000 channels on television, but you can pinpoint, a black channel. There's only one or two. And to be quite honest, those are no longer black channels. But, out of 1,000 channels, you have the black channel, you have Chinese channel, you have, Hispanic. So everybody wants to be represented, but it's not equal. You know what I'm saying? If anything, we help build this country. So if there's 1,000 channels, that go along with the Tamahu or, Caucasians, there should be, 500 of those should be ours. It should be equal representation, as well as in government. You know what I mean? Most of the people in the government are, old white men. We do not have proper representation. So when you don't have that, you have to be seen. You have to be known. So this is why we go as hard as we do. Well, I don't understand why we don't think that they would feel the same way. There was a time where you were not allowed to, to express that. I know people right now, who live that lifestyle on the low. because they have been bred, they have been trained to, to feel that them living this lifestyle is wrong. So they cover it up. And then you have others who are like, fuck that. I am who I am, so I'm going to do what I do. And I can't be mad at them for that. We can't be mad at them for that. If you would just let people live their lives. As long as they're treating you properly as a human being, as long as they're not, forcing their lifestyle onto you, there shouldn't be a problem. You know what I'm saying? I personally feel like, your sexual preference, here we go, you're back. Talk. Okay, talk again. I don't hear an echo, but now you need to talk a little louder. I can't hear you. I cannot hear you. This sucks. I can't hear you. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. It's not. Yeah, it's not working. What happened? What was you just doing before? Go back to what you were doing before. I don't know what you were on, but you need to go back to that because I can't hear anything now, let alone a frequency in the background. I don't know if you can hear me. I read your lips. You said this is so crazy. I read that. While she gets this together, like I was saying. Okay, sounds like each. Okay, she's gonna try this again. Y'all gonna get this work regardless. I appreciate y'all giving us your time and energy. Bear with us. Yeah, these electronics. But yeah, like I was saying, and do what they do and not ridicule them or attack them. You know what I'm saying? They probably wouldn't, want to be all flamboyant, because a lot of times that's what the big issue is. A lot of people say that they don't mind, what people do, but it's just so flamboyant, it's in your face. Well, here's the thing. Sex is overly, our society is overly sexualized. Now, as a child, sex is something that you shouldn't be exposed to. You're not old enough, or mature enough to understand what that's about, and what comes along with that. So this is why as a kid, your parents didn't want you to watch movies that had sexual content in it. Now, is sex bad? No, it's not. It's the ritual which brings life. But because we are so highly sexualized, it's all over the place. But, and people have issues about it, but that's not stopping, the sex industry from being exposed. Now, you have cartoons that have, sexual content in it. You know what I mean? They have songs, music is highly sexualized. It's not cool for kids to listen to it or be exposed to it, but they are. So it's the same thing. You know what I'm saying? People are going to have homosexual lives, whatever. They're allowed to do that. If you don't want your children exposed to that, if that's not the type of lifestyle you want your children to be around, then you set those boundaries in your home. But your children are going to live in this world with all types of things and people. You don't get to tell somebody else that they don't get to express themselves. That's not fair. You know what I'm saying? Now, we're going to get into, how this works as far, at least I have done a little bit of research about hormones and, why, why people have the feelings that they have and all these things in nature. And I feel like that in itself is what we need to focus on. Again, what people are doing in their bedrooms is none of your business. If they're not screwing you, it shouldn't bother you. That doesn't mess with your health, your life. It doesn't pay your bills. It doesn't knock, it doesn't knock you off of your life's purpose. So we need to allow people to do what they do. And I personally feel like if we allow them to do that, I think they will be a little bit more sensitive to how we feel about it. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, they're looking at us like, y'all get to do what you do. You get to express yourself the way you want to. So I should be able to do the same thing. That's what this country is supposed to be about, right? So technically, we're hypocrites. You know what I'm saying? If I feel like I should be able to, if we feel like our hair, should be accepted in corporate America. That's the issue in the black community. That our locks, our braids, you know what I'm saying, our nappy fros are considered not professional in the workforce. But that's our culture. That's how our hair naturally grows. That's who we are. So why is it who we are is not, you know what I'm saying, considered standard? And we have to change who we are, you know what I'm saying, to make other people comfortable. That's not fair. It's not fair at all. But then there's another side to that as well. It's compromise on both sides. So just like we, you know what I'm saying, have to be accepted and we have to see them as humans, they need to do the same thing. Now, my biggest, if I was to say that I were to have an issue, because it's like I said, I have family members and friends. As a matter of fact, I have my top 5, you know what I'm saying, favorite couples, you know, people that I know that are married or in relationships, you know what I'm saying, that not to say I don't really use other people's relationships as goals, because at the end of the day, everybody's different, you know what I'm saying, and whatever frequency they're on, they're meshing together, and that's why it's working for them. But I will say I respect, you know what I'm saying, certain relationships. There's certain, you know, entities in that relationship that I definitely would want. And out of my top 5, 2 of those relationships are lesbian, you know what I'm saying. One is a marriage and one is a long-term, you know what I'm saying, partnership. But regardless of what no one can tell me, because I know these and they exude, you know what I'm saying, exactly what it is to have a healthy relationship. You know what I'm saying? Like, my homegirl V is the shit. Like, she is the most gentle woman I know. Takes care of her wife, opens doors, you know what I'm saying? Pulls out chairs. You know what I'm saying? She's the provider. They're respectful. They do everything together. You know what I'm saying? Their marriage is super dope. And it's 2 women. Say what you want. I cannot hear you. I still can't hear you. Yeah, I'm not good at
Connect to my speakers or my headphones. As soon as I get ready to join the chat, it disconnects me. And are you still hearing the echo?
Let me see.
Let me see. Yes. Yeah. So my headphones in the speaker, every time I connect to it, you're getting no volume on your side. Even though I can hear you, you can't hear me.
Okay. So how we do this? As I'm talking,
how we do this? As
a second later, I keep repeating myself. A second later, I keep repeating myself. I'm sure that's crazy for them. Right. So what were you on before? When you first started,
What were you on before? When you first started, it was great. Yeah, I was on my tablet. It died.
You can't put that thing on a charger or something.
You can't put that thing on a charger or something. I have it on the charger right now, and it was on the charger when we were talking, but for whatever reason, it still powered off on me. So, thank y'all. I'm sorry. It's always my technology. I don't think, technology is just like my friend, for real. I don't think the
I can tell you what. I can give my point of view, my thoughts. I can give my point of view, my thoughts. And we can do this tomorrow morning so we can still have this live.
Okay.
So we can still have this live.
All right. Okay. So it's 9 a.m. in the morning?
Yes. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
So if this comes on, let's see how much juice it has right now. But yeah, so otherwise 9 a.m. in the morning. If this tablet doesn't.
And if I'm still going, and if I'm you want to try to chime on in,
okay, sounds like a winner.
Love y'all, and I'll down the floor.
Love down the floor. All right, peace, love, divine light. Peace.
All right, love her. You know what I'm saying? So sorry that we're not going to do this duo thing, but we're going to get this information out here. We're going to get her point of view tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. I'm going to give you my 2 cents and my thoughts, and you know what I'm saying? I also would like you guys thoughts as well. You know what I'm saying? This is a conversation that I feel like we all need to talk about, because again, unity is what we want. Unity is what we are striving for, and the only way we can have unity is if we understand one another, if we actively strive to understand each other. That is the only way this is going to work, because our differences are our differences. You know what I'm saying? You can't change folks. People are going to be who they are. You want people to accept you for what you are, and you have to do the same for other people. Okay? So, back to what I was speaking now. If, like I said, if I were to have, you know, an issue with anything, or, you know, have a side eye on thing, and is the transgender, you know what I'm saying, part of, you know what I'm saying, this community. Now, again, you have a right to feel how you feel. I don't know what it feels like to be born and feel that I am not myself. So I cannot by any means say that I understand what they go through. I do not know what that feels like. You know what I'm saying? I was born, I have my insecurities about who I am, but I've always known who I was. So I don't know what it feels like to be someone else trapped into another body. That's how, you know what I'm saying, that has been explained to me when I've spoken to you know, people with, you know, with that lifestyle. So I feel like that's traumatizing in itself. You know what I'm saying? That has to be, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of a word right now, but you know what I'm saying? I can't imagine feeling that way. You know what I'm saying? Just going through life regular, you know what I'm saying? Trying to find out who you are. You know, we all go through that stage, trying to figure out what it is your purpose is and who you are. You know, then to have to identify that sexually, like you were born a man, but you feel like a woman and vice versa. I don't know how I would handle that. So, you know, this is why I don't blame, again, you know what I'm saying, for how people express themselves, you know, at the end of the day. But when it comes down to being a transgender, it's a little bit different than, you know, just the L and the G and the B part of it. Because when you're talking about being a transgender, now you're switching your sex. So now how you relate to other people is different. Like, for instance, there was this track contest, you know, I think it was long running, I'm not sure exactly what it was, but there was a transgender woman in there, and she was going against regular women. So of course she won, you know, because technically and physically she is still a man. So this is why, you know, they have women's leagues and men's leagues, because physically men and women are not the same. Men physically are born stronger. You know what I'm saying? That's just an organic, natural fact. That's nature. Men were born, you know what I'm saying, stronger, for whatever that reason may be. So therefore, that's why you have the WNBA and the NBA. This is why they separate women and men, you know what I'm saying, when you're talking about the Olympics and all of that. Even in school, you know what I mean, you have your girls team and your boys team for that specific reason. So if you're a transgender, if you're a man who feels like you're supposed to be a woman, I understand that's your feeling, but physically you are still a man. So it isn't fair for you to be able to compete with other women, because 9.5 times out of 10 you're going to win, because naturally and physically you are stronger. It's not equal. It's not a fair shot. So these are the little things, you know what I'm saying, that I would say that would be an issue. I would not feel comfortable if I was one of those women in that race. You know, I done trained mad hard, you know, put years in and all of that stuff. And all it takes is a man to feel like they're a woman and they can be a part of this and just go for the win. Like, that's not fair. I don't believe that is fair. And then also in the situation when you're talking about the restroom, you know, there was a big controversy about, you know, transgenders being able to use the bathroom with the sex that they identify with. I personally have an issue with that, because again, you're trying to figure out who you are. So what if, who's to say that one day that you realize or you feel as if you are the sex that you were born in? So what if you have the right to switch that up? But you've been using the women's bathroom. As a woman, I don't feel comfortable using the bathroom in front of a man that's not mine. So again, you want, you want to be represented and you want to be respected, but you also now have to respect others. You need to respect the fact that I'm a heterosexual, that I don't feel comfortable, using the restroom and things of that nature with a man present. Even in the situation with the, with the sports team, you're going to be in the locker room with other women who are going to have their breast out or in their panties and things of that nature. And we are taught, and how we feel is that we're not supposed to undress and do that in front of a man. So where's the compromise in that? Those are the things that, that I feel like needs to be talked about, and there needs to be a compromise made. Because again, like I said, you were born a certain way, you feel differently about that. But what if you get to change your mind? See, you don't know that. You didn't know that you was going to be born feeling this way. So how do you know that those feelings may not change? Like, again, I don't live that lifestyle. I don't have those feelings. So I can't say if it's going to stick or not. What if it does change? I have heard of cases, because like with women, there's a lot of women who just experiment. I'm in college and I want to go wild and, do whatever. I want to kiss a girl and, all of that stuff. But in their heart of hearts, they like men. That's their preference. But they got to dibble and dabble and figure that out. And then made a decision when they got older. So what happens if you dibble and dabble, but then you feel differently later? How does that affect the people around you? The industries that you want to be in? We don't think about stuff like that because, again, and this is partially, I feel, our fault, because we don't allow them to live their lives and do what they do. They are now want to flood, every outlet, with their lifestyle to let us know, damn it, we're here and we not going nowhere. So again, it comes down to respect and understanding. I think everybody would respect each other's boundaries if we, if that was reciprocated. So I think those are the things, that need to be addressed, or like I said, have a compromise with them. Now I'm going to talk about science. Again, when it comes down to feelings and how you want to live your life, all of that is relative. I told you there's absolute reality and there's relative reality. Relative reality is yours. It's how you see your life, your perspective. An example, I lost my arm, somebody else lost their arm. I took this and motivated myself and, and made me great. Someone else can take this and this can break them. Same reality. We both lost an arm, but our perspective on it is different. That's what makes it relative. Your reality is your reality. Can't nobody take that from you. Can't nobody say what your reality is. But then you have absolute reality. That means that it goes for everybody. No one is exempt. If you're a human being, you breathe oxygen. I don't care who you're having sex with. I don't care who you pray to. You have to breathe the same oxygen that I do. That is an absolute reality. Period. We need trees for that very purpose, because that's where we get it from. No one is exempt from that. It's absolute. So when you're talking about absolute in this situation, we're talking about yin and yang, balancement, ma'at, as we call it. To give forth life, you need a man and a woman. Don't care how you feel about that. That is a fact. That is why, you know what I'm saying, living a homosexual lifestyle is not considered balancement when you're talking about nature. You don't have to agree, but it is still a fact. Then when you think about it, how does one, you know what I'm saying, if we're all born and all that, what governs your feelings? Why do we feel the way do we feel? Why do we find men attractive? And outside the fact that that's what we're taught, but why do you're attracted to the person that you're attracted to? What governs that? Those are your hormones. Your hormones govern, you know what I'm saying, your feelings. And sometimes in that, your behavior. So I did some research. I had looked up hormones because growing up, when my mom first got into consciousness, you know what I'm saying, her husband was, you know, teaching us different things, especially about our diets. You know, he definitely switched up, you know, stop eating pork. You know, my mom stopped making me drink cow's milk, things of that nature. And a lot of these things have a lot of hormones in them. Like milk, especially whole milk, it's homogenized. So they've been pumping all types of hormones into that milk. And that is a staple, you know what I'm saying, in the black home. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you live in the projects. If you live in a low income, you know what I'm saying, situation, that is, whole milk is a staple in your diet. I remember distinctively my mom and I talking about it. That's why a lot of boys grow up, you know what I'm saying, they got titties. Because all that milk they're drinking. Well, since they're homogenizing this stuff and that deals with your hormones, so wouldn't you think that that can change? Because, you know, we're chemical people. We're made of chemicals. So when you're mixing chemicals with other chemicals, you come up with shit. So I read this, I Googled on it, and it says, you know, how do hormones affect behavior? And I found this study from the University of Ohio. And it says hormones and behavior. The goal of this module is to introduce you to the topic of hormones and behavior. Hormones are chemical messengers released from endocrine glands that travel through the blood system to influence the nervous system, to regulate behaviors such as aggression, mating, and parenting of individuals. Okay, so right here, it says that the way your hormones are set up can ultimately control how aggressive you are, can control how you choose to mate, how you parent, you know what I'm saying, an individual. So your hormones have a direct, you know what I'm saying, effect on that. So I looked something else. It also says hormonal and neural messengers are both chemical in nature. They are released and received by cells in a similar manner. However, they are important in differences as well. It says another distinction between neural and hormonal communication is the degree of voluntary control that can be exerted over their functioning. In general, there is more voluntary control of neural than of hormonal signals. It is virtually impossible to will a change in your thyroid hormone levels, for example, whereas moving your limbs in command and easy. So pretty much what I got from that is that, you know, your neurological, you know what I'm saying, connections are more voluntary than your hormonal communication. So you don't get to really choose how that works. It's not voluntary when it comes down to your hormones. So technically, how you feel sexually and things is not voluntary. It kind of just happens, according to what this is saying. So, if your parent is, you know what I'm saying, has a diet full of hormones, if your parent is feeding you foods with mad hormones, wouldn't you think that you could have a hormonal imbalancement, which can also be seen as why you were born one way but you feel another way? We don't look at stuff like this. And I think this is something that, you know what I'm saying, we need to take into consideration. Also, your lifestyle, things that happen to you, your traumas. I know several women, you know what I'm saying, who became, you know what I'm saying, homosexual because they were raped. A man violated them. So therefore, that just snatched away, you know what I'm saying, all of their feelings, you know what I'm saying, where men are concerned. They have been traumatized. So now they can never seek love, you know what I'm saying, from the opposite sex because the opposite sex violated them. See how that works? Being exposed to, as a child, to that type of lifestyle can also, you know what I'm saying, be a reason why, you know what I'm saying, someone feels like they want to do that. If it's an option, why not? So there are several different, you know what I'm saying, avenues that you can take or to think, you know, perspectives of this. You know what I'm saying? And I think we need to explore them all. But at the end of the day, we all live here. You can disagree with, you know what I'm saying, someone's lifestyle all you want to, but at the end of the day, we still all live together on this earth. Homosexuals have been there since the beginning of time. There's a climate for everything. They're saying we need to do our research. Everybody makes it seem like, you know, that this is just a new fad, and it's no. Centuries, thousands of years. You don't think they got ancestors? I'm just saying. So we need to learn how to compromise. We need to learn how to understand people. Like, just like when I had made the comment about what people was saying about Nipsey Hussle's mother in her speech, or, you know what I'm saying, her prayer at the BET Awards. You know what I'm saying? We as humans fear what they don't understand, and we hate what we fear. And that's a problem. Because at the end of the day, if you don't understand something, you shouldn't comment on it. You shouldn't actually have a feeling about anything that you don't understand. Because at the end of the day, we are still humans. We all have those 206 bones. We all have lungs, a liver, an esophagus, a brain, 2 eyes, 2 ears, nostrils. At the end of the day, you all got to pay taxes. At the end of the day, we should deal with people on how they treat us, not on what they do in their personal lives. Again, you don't have to agree. You do not have to agree with people do. But you need to respect, you know what I'm saying, that everyone has a right to do what it is that they want to do. And that goes both ways. We need to let folks live their lives, and they need to let us live ours the way we want to as well. I feel like we should not insert our heterosexualness with them, and they shouldn't push their homosexuality onto us. Everybody should have their own lane to do what they do, to express themselves, you know what I'm saying, to live their lives, you know what I mean, and be happy because they're here for a purpose. Everybody has a purpose, right? That's not exempt because you don't like someone's sexuality. It's not how that works. So I think we need to get this together. I know a lot of folks is not feeling this, you know what I'm saying, and I can dig all of that. But again, put yourself in other people's shoes. How would you want to be treated? You know what I'm saying, for the way you are, the way that you do things, your lifestyle. Don't you feel like you should be represented and respected? Don't you feel that way? So what makes you think that that doesn't go for the next person? We have to do better on both sides. To all my LGBTQ folks, you know what I'm saying, I want y'all to have y'all representation, do what y'all do. But y'all need to compromise with us as well. You know what I'm saying? Have your shows. Have your, you know what I'm saying, have your month. Have whatever it is that you got going on. Do that. Like I said, I have several people that I love and I care about, you know what I'm saying, that live this lifestyle. I have been to Pride at least 3 times in my life. And I enjoyed myself every time I was there. Here's another thing. I was respected in that space. Like, I don't know, I've been to the Prides in Atlanta. So how they do it in the parks, at least the last time that I went, it's just like any other fair or parade type situation. You know what I'm saying? Vendors pretty much have the whole park, lit. What they do have, they have these balloon people that are out there, and they make these little hat balloons. You know how, the clown comes to your child's birthday party and takes the balloons and makes shapes out of them or whatever. Okay, so every time that I go, they have it where, because there are straight people, such as myself, who, still support, people and, doing what they do. So they make these hats that are shaped like penises, I'ma just say that. Okay, so pretty much, I was walking around with a dick on my head. But it's supposed to be a representation of me, being heterosexual. But I'm here. So that's supposed to be my tag, my heterosexual tag, or whatever. I've been to several, I've been to a lesbian club. I've been to an all-gay club. I've been to a club where both of them parlay. I've been to them all. And they're the happiest people in the world. They know how to turn up. They know how to have fun. They're cool as shit. And I've been respected. I've been to an all-lesbian club, and not one of them tried me. Like, people know you have a vibe. You know what I'm saying? When you take all of that away, you have a vibe. You can feel, people. And they know that I'm not about that life. They see who I'm with. They get it. They smile at me, whatever, because I got one arm, and, I be doing my thing, because clubs for me, like I tell everybody, is about the drinks, the music, and the people that I'm with. I don't go to parties and I don't go to clubs looking for somebody to take home. That's never been my thing. So I'm just there for the good vibes, for the good Long Islands, and, to shake a tail feather real quick. That's what I'm there for. So they don't bother me. I have yet to have somebody try to holler at me at one of those clubs, because they feel my vibe. But they respect me because I'm respecting them. I'm up in their spot, not worrying about what they got going on. It's cool. They still people. We chilling. What you doing over there with your girlfriend ain't got nothing to do with me, because I ain't here with you. So this is why I don't have issues like that. So again, it's about respect. If you want respect, you have to give it. And that goes on both sides. I understand that y'all been ridiculed and all that, but not everyone does that. So you have to be respectful, of our lifestyle too. All about respect. That is the only way that this stops being an issue. Because it's a big thing. Everybody talks about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have family members, who want, who want to express themselves and be them. And they have to worry about, people calling them names or, being mad extra. And I'm talking about children. At the end of the day, as long as you're a good person, as long as you treat me with respect, that's all that matters, in my world. If I ever have children, that may not be this, the lifestyle that I might personally want them, to live. I'm all about my eye. I'm all about balancement. But at the same time, if that's what my children choose, I'm going to support the fuck out of them, because those are my kids. I gave birth to them. I had something to do with that. Whatever it may be. So, you know what I'm saying? So I'm going to instill in my children what I want, what I feel is important for them. And if they decide to do something else, by all means, do your thing. Because I'm sure that I do things right now that my mama doesn't agree with. But I'm her daughter, and she's going to support me. And if she does, and if she's not cool with the situation, she's still going to let me rock and do what I do. Because it's my life. So I think this is a perspective that, that we need to look into, especially in our community. We have too many things that divide us, and this shouldn't be one of them. Again, at the end of the day, what on our end, what we would be upset about is the fact that you are sleeping, you know what I'm saying, with the same sex. And again, what you do in your bedroom has nothing to do with me. If you're not sleeping with me, then I don't care. You don't affect my genitalia. So that shit's not important. You know what I'm saying? Are you being a good citizen? You know what I'm saying? Are you being a good human being? Those are the only things that would affect my life with me dealing with you. So I have no say in that. I have no right to even have a voice. And again, what you're doing in your bedroom, or who you choose to live your life with and spend, and all of that, none of that shit matters. What matters is your deeds, what you do. And this is the crazy part for me, and I think I'm going to end this because I want to get my Sistar's thoughts in this so we can, come through, because I'm sure she has some feelings about what I'm saying and all that stuff. So I really wish she was here right now. But, I just feel like, we just need to do better. And, we need to stop, stop talking and picking on the things that make us different. We have enough of that. We have enough things to, to divide us. We don't need to be doing that to ourselves. So I'm about compromise in every situation when it comes down to black people. We need to figure that out. We can argue about lifestyles, religion, and all of that stuff, later. But we need to focus on the things, that unite us. And now I just thought that I was about to say a few seconds ago, like in religion, this is part of the reason why I don't subscribe to religion. Because do you know that most homosexuals are Christians? Yo, they love God more than heterosexual Christians. Straight up. They're the ones in there busting down a tambourine, killing that shit. You know what I'm saying? They're the ones shouting and, truly, they're the ones who openly, talk about God and how much they love Jesus and all that. But in that religion, their lifestyle is a blasphemy. You're supposed to be going to hell for living that lifestyle, according to that walk of life. I don't think people think about that at all. Who they are is who they are, but they still subscribe, to that religion that pretty much tells them that no matter what they do, no matter how much you praise God, no matter how much you love Him and bring Him into your life, but if you're living that lifestyle, you're doomed to go to hell. This is a fact. Read your Bible. I didn't make that up. So this is why, I'm just loving light. Because that doesn't make sense. These are other things that, we need to think about. I would have you guys, who live that lifestyle to think about that. You want the world to accept you, but your own walk of life doesn't. That's something y'all should think about. I love y'all. I absolutely do. You know what I'm saying? People are people. Live your life. Be great. Whatever that is. But we all need to be mindful of who we're around. We need to be mindful, of compromise. I'm not telling you to not be you. There's no way that I can tell you that, because I am me all day. I wear what I want. I say what I want. You know what I'm saying? I do as I feel. You know what I'm saying? What's best for me in my reality. And it doesn't matter what other people's opinion think. Some people are going to like it. Some people aren't. I don't, I don't focus on that at all. But at the same time, I am mindful that I live in this world. I am mindful, that I have people who care about me, that have different walks of life in different spaces. So I keep that in mind. I'm not just so engulfed in, I have to be me. you know what I'm saying, and and just disrespect, you know what I'm saying, everybody, you know what I'm saying, who I love, just so I can be me. If that's what I have to do to be me, then there's a problem. Because these people love me. I love them. These are my friends. We've had, you know what I'm saying, we've gone through things. Okay, let's see. We can add her in. She is back and hopefully her tablet is charged. Okay, I see you.
Can you hear
About to hear
me?
you. I can hear you. Yes.
There's no
Awesome.
feedback.
No feedback. We on and popping.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, this is perfect because I've been talking a lot. So now you can pretty much give me your thoughts about what I just said and all of
All
that.
right, so again, peace world. Thank y'all for your patience, your love, time, energy in this space. All right. So if you're just joining us, just tuning in, thank you. This is Divine Feminine Discussions with myself, Nexus, and my sister Plum Queen. All right. So, LGBTQ, transgenders. All right, so I'm gonna pick up right there, because I kind of gave like my feed on the overall concept and their place and being accepted and being able to do, what I'm saying, their own thing at their own leisure because hey, you got the right to do, what I'm saying, you. And about what happens in our bedrooms, like being sacred, and even as heterosexual beings, like that's not anything for us to just be blasting all out willy-nilly to the world, and that's something that society, what I'm saying, has made acceptable and okay. Like even when we were growing up, like, and now we have grandparents and great great grandparents, and you don't know what was going on in that bedroom. Like if grandpa, grandma was cheating, stepping out, like even with this, like you really didn't know. Like they handled these situations, what I'm saying, without having to have everybody all in their business. So now we have these reality TV shows that just makes it cool, like for everybody to be in everybody's bed and to know what everybody's doing and who everybody's sleeping with and what, like, is, that's a low vibrational plane and low level, operations. So however, I do agree with what you were saying, when it comes to our brothers and sisters who go to the extent of actually making alterations to themselves physically, to make this outer appearance, this physical shell that we, are embodied in, to resemble what they feel or what they think, they should be, and not even really knowing, 100% sure, because a lot of times we see them start to make these changes and go through these processes, like you said, and now we want to revert because, oh, I was acting solely off emotions and feelings and not being logical or not having a certain level of understanding or even knowledge to tap into like the spiritual realm and get outside of this flesh and what we feel, so when it comes to that, like if you wanted to at some point in time, you know, explore other options, like you're taking even that right away from yourself. And so I would say even in that sense, like we're denying and limiting, what I'm saying, what we're able to do as beings and how we naturally came into existence, right? So we all came in these shells that we're in for a reason, regardless of how we feel. Like we were given this particular shell, this particular sleeve, this particular body, what I'm saying, for a purpose, for a reason. Like, and we can say we feel and we view and we know God to be whatever, and universe to be this and ancestors and but still we were given this for a reason. Like, what is that reason? Have we even taken time to learn and to know why, even though we have these feelings of this other gender, what I'm saying, that we actually want to go to the extent of changing and altering that? Like, are we really getting in tune and tapping into ourselves and learning ourselves and why we're having these feelings and emotions? And so, the bathroom thing, no. Like you said, you were born a certain way. So genetically, scientifically, you come with certain things. And no, we don't need that, because then that opens the door, for all types of situations. Because now we can have pedophiles or anybody, what I'm saying, just dressing up, rapists and anybody just dressing up and saying, oh, I'm transgender today, what I'm saying? And now, like, it's okay for you to be in these restrooms with these women and these children, but that's not cool. So even when we talk about athletics, because I saw the thing about the transgender woman who was running track, and it's like,
Yeah.
okay, I get it. You feel how you feel. You made the change. You want to be accepted. However, you being accepted does not mean we exert you into, like, these type of things, because that's unfair. You know what I'm saying? It's not right. I would like to know and believe that just because you look a certain way because of how you naturally came here, you can still run with the men. I mean, if you good, you good. You know what I'm saying? If you that good, like, why would you even? And what does that say about you and your character? That it's like, oh no, I don't even want to get into that. Like, it's just like, what are we doing? Even to the extent when we look at these TV shows, like Orange is the New Black, and it's another one that deals with incarceration, right? But you have these transgender women who are going to these female facilities, but you're a whole man out here. So it's like, well, we know in real time in prison and penitentiaries, like, we have brothers who are in there who went in there as men, and on the inside they became transgender. So why would we now create a whole new facility for you, so you say you can feel safer? Like, it's somebody over there that's gonna protect you, you know what I'm saying? That's gonna look out for you, and you're gonna be good. Like, and then even like the force and understanding each other in the balance, it's like, well, we aren't massively represented, right? Well, you are not the mass majority of the population of the people. Like, you make up a smaller percentage of the population, so you wouldn't be,
Is that a fact? I have a
I
question.
don't
Is that a
know.
fact?
I don't know. I don't know.
I've
Don't.
never done the statistics because let me keep it a buck. There's a lot of people that are on the low. See, you might not know
Right.
that because
And
if
then,
you
so
think
this
about
would
it,
be the other
they
thing,
might
right?
out
And
they
that's
might
why I kind
outnumber
of
us.
talked about it on Voices, because it's a difference in your sexual behaviors, you know what I'm saying? So they say, in your actual orientation, or how you view yourself when it comes to that. So it's like this, right? So, say for instance, we were talking about the people who explore. Like, I go off to college, drunk, high night, stoner stuff, and it's like, oh, I'm gonna make out with me a chick. Like, okay, that don't make me gay or a lesbian, just because I made out with this chick. Like, I just sexually explored, what I'm saying, like, that realm. And so that would even take me into the conversation, right, that about the post that I made a few weeks ago, where it was talking about the brother being sexually stimulated via penetration of his anus, right? And so scientifically, if we talk from a scientific perspective, we know that our brothers do get a different type of arousal, what I'm saying, from that area, because that's where
Their G spot is
their
there.
their
That's
prostate
where their
is,
G
what I'm
spot is.
saying? And it's like their G spot. So how they be trying to get us, like, where you spot at, girl? Like, it's the same thing for them, and even, we grown people, like this is Divine Feminine Discussions, right? So people engage in all forms of sexual acts. And so even females who receive anal penetration, like they get a certain type of stimulation, a certain type of arousal, you know what I'm saying? So it's not to say like you're just automatically gay or lesbian because you explore your sexual bounds, but it's more about who you specifically choose to be, or who you say you're more sexually and romantically like attracted to. So whereas like for someone like me, I would like to say I'm a sapiosexual, right? So that means like we're stimulated mentally, and it's like, oh, you have to like speak to my mind and my spirit. And if you can do that, then the physical will just be like, bam. But
Right.
just think about it on a deeper level. Like if I'm saying I'm mentally aroused and stimulated by somebody else's thoughts and mental, or what I'm saying, their outlooks and perspectives, then that can be anyone. Because this is just a shell that houses, what I'm saying, this intellect. So it's like, hold on, what is Nexus saying? Does she like women? Yeah, I think the female anatomy and the female body is beautiful. I'm a female, you know what I'm saying? Nevertheless, I admire the male body in a whole different type of way. You know what I'm saying? So when a male is speaking to my mental, you know what I'm saying, it's like it does something different than if a sister was speaking to my mental. Like, yeah, I can be like, oh yeah, I can kick it with this sister. Like we can link up, we can connect. Like yeah, but
Right.
for brothers, like hold on. Especially like with the what I got now, it's like, and but if you come over here, like you really gotta have something going on with your mind and your spirit, and you really gotta be like doing something better than what I got going on right now. So it's like, but yeah, and so when I made that post, right, the question or the caption in the post was, because the image was of a sister with the strap on, you know what I'm saying, penetrating her male mate, and it was like, does this make you gay? I personally say no. You know what I'm saying? For the reasons that I just gave about our sexual organs, or this body being able to do different things and us being able to, however, who would know that's going on in your bedroom unless you're posting it on social media, or you're going out telling your friends and family members that this is what you're doing in your bedroom. Like you and your mate, regardless of who it is, should be able to explore, you know what I'm saying, these spaces without even having to question whether or not this is gonna make you
Right.
gay.
That's very true.
Like when
Now
our brothers
let me
are
interject here.
anally, you know what I'm saying, but when our sisters are receiving this anal penetration, it's like, oh no, bro, cause she like it and it feels good, and that's a woman on the other side. It's an anus though. A booty is a booty, a butt is a butt. Like,
Okay, let
cause
me
you know
interject right there.
how, look, cause check plump, like historically, what did they have? Like they used to have like the black holes, or what is it, like the little hole in the wall, and the brothers would go and put their Johnsons, their phallus, like in the hole in the slot, not knowing what was on the other side of the wall. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
Oh, wait, I don't know anything about that
see, that's your
historically. I've
face.
seen that on pornos. I've seen it on pornos, but
But this was
I don't know
actually
anything
a
about that
thing
being
that people
historically.
did. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I don't know that really because I know that I've never heard of that. Now, like I said, I've definitely seen it on pornos, but I've
If you
never
saw it on a
heard
porn,
about.
hey, please believe somebody else was doing it. You know what I'm
You
saying?
right.
Like,
You right. You right. You absolutely right. It had to come from somewhere. So they got it from somewhere. I don't give people that much creative credit. But let me interject a little bit there. Now, I feel what you just said makes positively sense. I used to say the same thing when I in high school. Like, if you were blindfolded and someone gave you oral sex, you would have no idea who that person is. You know what I'm saying? If they just didn't touch you and it was just strictly their tongue, or you know what I'm saying, or their mouth, you would not know if that was a man and a woman, and it would still feel good because it's the act of what they're doing is what's making you feel that way, not necessarily who the person is. So I would always say that. And as well as a woman, I know my body. So another woman would know how to please me and vice versa. But what I will say is, from what my 34 years of living on this earth and what I know about heterosexual men, not saying it's right or wrong, I'm just saying what is. If a man, you know what I'm saying, most men are funny about that. They are trained to not to assume that anything that has to do with their ass and sex is gay. That's what they're taught from day one. So, from my experience, if I ever met a man that told me that, or I was aware of that, I would absolutely feel that there is a potential for them to be gay. Because, like I said, I've dealt with men my whole life. You know what I'm saying? The men that.
But you got brothers out here who are Supermaning, you know what I'm saying, and are on the whole, what is it? Like, goodness, I forget the term I was looking for just then.
Can I answer the question real quick? Let me answer. What's up, Calvin? Peace. I appreciate your comment. He says, this is your reproductive system. Please explain how this is natural. That's a homosexual act because the anus is made to expel waste, period. Okay, well, to answer that, we're not talking about it being natural or not. What we're talking about is what is. Now, if you want to talk about anus, women also do, you know what I'm saying, have anal sex. You know what I'm saying? So if it's based off the naturalness or waste, yes, that is where waste comes out. So yeah, you probably shouldn't be doing that, you know, technically.
Right, because then that would mean that oral sex shouldn't be had either. You know what I'm saying? Because no type of reproductive action can happen from oral stimulation, you know. So
because y'all definitely
nevertheless,
pee out of
what
your
can
hole.
happen though is because, you know, like earlier I talked about the spirituality and the sacredness of sexual engagement, right? And so if we were engaging spiritually, you know what I'm saying, or from a spiritual standpoint, mind, view, act, like there's power of manifestation in all of that because you're getting a certain type of stimulation, which is energy, right? And so this energy is being like exuded or built up in whatever, you know what I'm saying, we want to call it. So you have the power to manifest certain things through these acts, whether it's orally, you know what I'm saying, anal, vaginal, penile, like whatever we choose to call it, like those things still are energy, you know what I'm saying, generators that have the power to allow us to manifest certain things, you know. So it just depends, because if we go back and like we were talking about them in their view of like the Bible, right? That's a slave.
Okay, now, that's funny that you said that. Now, with you saying that, and this is what I mean by perspectives and absolute and realities. See, you feel, Calvin, that oral sex is stemmed from slavery and it's something that you don't do. Okay? Now, from my perspective, I love oral sex. Sorry, we grown on here. Okay? You know what I'm saying? As a matter of fact, it is a natural fact that oral sex is honestly the only way that us women can actually orgasm. You can't make us men, you cannot make us orgasm through penetration. It's through our clitoris that we get, you know what I'm saying, that we get to get there. So, what you're saying, Calvin, right now, if you're a woman or, you know what I'm saying, whoever you're with, you know what I'm saying, is in tune with her body, you know what I'm saying, you'll never, ever give her an orgasm because you don't feel like oral sex, you know what I'm saying, you associate that with slavery and, you know, it's something that you know what I'm saying, as a negative thing.
But then that would mean that so then if I'm just presuming, you know what I'm saying, in this situation that my brother is not a selfish being, and that if he's not, you know what I'm saying, on one side and he's not getting either, and so.
Well, you know why? Because of that thought process. We are made to think. That's what I'm saying. The way we perceive sex, you know what I'm saying, is a whole. You know what I'm saying, is really warped. First of all, sex is supposed to be a ritual for bringing forth life. To be clear,
Right.
I can dig it. I can dig it, Calvin. I feel you. I feel all of that. But see,
And
here's the
bringing
thing. Let
forth
me take
life.
it
It
all
does,
the way
yeah.
old school. Sex is supposed to be a ritual for reproduction. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, that's what it's supposed to be for. But we as a society have made it something that we need for pleasure. Like we just do it for pleasurable reasons. See what I'm saying? So if you were doing it for the ritualistic part of just, you know what I'm saying, manifesting and bringing forth life, you, you know what I'm saying? That honestly, this wouldn't even be a discussion. No, not true, Plump. I never had an orgasm with oral sex. Again, I can't speak about your experiences, but from what I have read, you know what I'm saying, and I have, you know what I'm saying, heard from an actual person who has a PhD, you know what I'm saying, in sexual behavior, it's a natural fact that our organ, you know what I'm saying, our G spot is connected with our clitoris. I'm gonna find the video, Joanne,
Right.
where
And
I
that's
where
just
this woman
like,
says
because
this,
that's just
and I'm
like
gonna
for the
send it to you.
male, you know what I'm saying? It's, even though we were talking about like his pancreas, or I mean his prostate, right? You know what I'm saying? Just show me the money, I'll find the buried treasure.
I know that's right, Calvin. I hear you. I hear you, bro. I hear you.
That's just like
Whatever
though,
works, again,
but
whatever floats
that's
your
like
boat. I
the
dig it.
head or the tip, you know what I'm saying? Like the soft top of the penis. It does the same, you know what I'm saying? It's the same, bruh, like, I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
now if you
Okay,
want to get deep into that, yeah, Calvin, we as men and women, to be quite honest, if you want to talk about science, you may not like what I'm about to say, but look it up. Don't believe me. Do your own research. When you think about chromosomes, right? To make a human being, you need two sets of chromosomes. You need to make a woman, you need two X's, and to make a man, you need an X and a Y. Now, if you see a standard chromosome looks like an X. So, scientifically, a man has one full chromosome and a chromosome that has a piece of it taken off. So, technically, that would be a deformity. This is why, as men and women, we tend to have the same genital, but it's just different. Your penis is an elongated clitoris, which is why, like she said, is the tip that is so sensitive, and that's where a lot of your pleasure comes from. It is the same, pretty much the same organ, but again, one is elongated for you, and ours is in. The same with your testicles. Your testicles are your ovaries, but they're just on the outside of your body where ours is in the inside. This is why y'all have nipples and we do. What we have a purpose for our nipples. Why do you have nipples? You don't, you know what I'm saying? These are supposed to be to feed our babies. That's what breasts are for. That's why you have
right.
milk ducts in them.
So
So
it's almost like you're
why do men
dysfunctional.
have
I ain't
them?
gonna say a dysfunctional woman, you know what I'm saying? But it's like,
Okay, I can dig it, Joanne, but at the same time, it's still your clitoris that is what needs to be stimulated for that orgasm. That's the point I'm making. Regardless of how you play with it, you know what I'm
right.
saying? It's your clitoris, you know what I'm saying, that, is that stimulation. That's why in certain cultures, they try to cut off women's clitorises after they get married because they don't want them to have any type of sexual feelings for someone else. See, again, remember I was talking about hormones? Hormones are involuntary. You don't control those.
Okay, so check. Can I read a quick little snippet from my book? All right, so check. This is what it says, right? So this talks about intimacy, right, in what they call the ash circle as it relates to the Dagara people of West Africa. All right, so I'm gonna just read a little bit. So it says, when people recognize that they are spirit in a human body and that other people are spirits, they begin to understand that our bodies are sacred and that sexuality is far more than a means of pleasure. It is a sacred act. They look at other people differently, seeing the body not as a source of physical attraction, but as a shrine. All right, so maybe the way to start on a path to a healthy, intimate life is to recognize the divine in everything. When we acknowledge that the earth we walk upon is not just dirt, that the trees and animals are not just resources for our consumption, then we can begin to accept ourselves as spirits vibrating in unison with all the other spirits around us. Our connections to all these living spirits helps determine the kind of intimate life we live. So the Dagara people believe that when two people share a spirited and balanced, intimate life, they have the power to raise a healing energy for everything around them. For this reason, a couple might dedicate their sacred intimacy to some higher purpose, in addition to the well-being of their own relationship. So it goes on to say that a couple's intimacy is not about the pursuit of pleasure, it is the pursuit of a kind of power that only spirit can give in a sacred context. It's not going to be found on a public road or in a village circle. It's going to be in the ash. Okay, so it goes on to talk about this ash circle, which is kind of like a ritual, you know what I'm saying, for the sacred act. And so it says that the couple in a sacred space is there because they have first admitted that they don't know what they're doing. Okay, so we'll skip that, but they had teachers, right? So it says they but they have teachers, they have guides, you know what I'm saying? Like people in the village, in their tribe, in their community that they can go to for advice, you know what I'm saying? When it comes to intimacy on a sacred level, something that we lack. And I can guess, like, go back to what Brother Calvin was saying, because of slavery, you know, like our perception and what we've learned and what we've been taught, you know what I'm saying?
Joanne, you don't know me, honey. Like, you don't trust me. I'm good. I'm good over here. Believe you me. I'm good over here. But I'm just saying, again, it's
So check this though,
perspective.
Plum.
Like,
Hold on. So if we try to aim at pleasure only, intimacy will be short. You will get finished with it in a short time. If you can look at intimacy as spirit driven and go beyond the limitations of pleasure, then intimacy can have a long lasting effect. It can be life giving and healing. You don't wait until your hormones are taking over, you know what I'm saying, your body in order to bring, you know what I'm saying, like this stuff to your attention. Like, so it does have to do with our hormones and it has to do with us knowing ourselves. Like we were saying, more than just on a physical level and seeking pleasure, like in the flesh, like when it comes to these things, but understanding like intimacy and the act of sex, like on a more sacred plane. And so, like, yeah. And, you know, what do we say? There is power in both the yoni and the phallus. I'll just say that much, right? And so when
yeah.
the right ones do collide, though, Joanne, like I was just saying, like there is life changing power and electric healing, like, and not just for themselves, but for their communities, for their families, for the people around them. You know what I'm saying? So we just have to, the whole point on my end, and I'm sure Plump's, and you know what I'm saying, because this is divine feminine discussions, is to just open us up to a different view, a different look on how we've been viewing sex, you know what I'm saying, and how the world has been teaching us to view sex, you know what I'm saying, and so that we can start to think for ourselves and learn better, you know what I'm saying, ways of actually being able to channel our energy so that we are able to reach our highest selves. Because at the end of the day, it's all about elevation and it's all about divine beings being able to come together with solid information for themselves, you know what I'm saying, and using it together to be a magnificent force, you know what I'm saying, so that we can continue to bring about healing, change, and restoration to this world, to this universe, this space that we exist in right now, you know. So I love
Absolutely.
everybody.
Whole facts at the end of the day. Like, we live here. And I want to say another comment about, I was just thinking while you were talking, how Calvin was saying how, anal sex is not natural. Well, there's a lot of things that we do right now that aren't natural. You know what I'm saying? The way we live societally, period. We do things
It's
that
not
go
natural.
against our nature. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
we live in this world, and you know what I'm saying, we have to do certain things. So again, when it comes down to what people do in their bedroom, we need to stop focusing on so much that. Because it maybe isn't unnatural, but that has nothing to do with personally you. You know what I'm saying? What
Right.
someone does in their bedroom does not affect you. You know what I mean? So I think we need to stop judging and trying to figure out what people, you know what I mean? As long as you're not doing that, if you feel like that's
Right.
unnatural and you're not doing it, then you should be good. If you're not
Right.
teaching your kids that, then you should be good. You know what I'm saying? So we shouldn't focus on that because, again, like I said, the fact that sex is just based on pleasure is not natural. That's not what it was
Right.
created for. It was created, like you said, to manifest things and to bring forth life. That's what it's supposed to do. But now we're used to it being for pleasure, so that's why we do it. But that's
Mm-hmm.
technically not natural. So,
Right.
if we want
And
to go
so
back
even
to
like I
that,
talked about our brothers and sisters who are gay, lesbian, whatever we choose to, what I'm saying, classify them as nowadays. Like historically, they were known in our villages and tribes as gatekeepers. You know what I'm saying? Because they had a higher level of spiritual connection, you know what I'm saying, between the sexes, and oftentimes they were seen as like the mediators between when it came to relationships, you know what I'm saying, and things of that nature. So they
that
held
would
a
make sense.
very powerful space in our culture and in our existence that we couldn't necessarily handle or deal with because they were able to connect to the spirit realm on a different level than we were able to do. So it's all about balance, duality, like knowing and understanding our purpose. Oh, her ex felt like that too about the anal. So yeah.
That's what most, you know what I'm saying, that's what most heterosexuals feel like, which is why I said that if I were to be aware of a man, you know what I'm saying, that enjoyed that, depending on who they are, if you're just a regular person, I would definitely assume that, there might be some tendencies there because of the way, what I'm saying, men are trained. You know what I'm saying? Like my man, I've been with him for years. And I remember when we first got to, first started doing our thing or whatever, I had one time made a mistake and my foot,
It wasn't
went
no
in the wrong place.
mistake.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it was a mistake. It was a mistake. You know what I'm saying? I ain't mean to do it. And it's
Your
not like I
foot.
stuck my toe in
Your
the grass or
foot.
nothing like that. But yeah, it kind of, the way we was positioned and shit like that. Yeah, it was crazy. Anyway, you know what I'm saying? The point is that, you know what I'm saying? My foot grazed the crack of his ass, and that nigga had a whole fit.
Hey, bruh,
Right, you know what I'm
they
saying? That was his
lose their
initial.
mind, like they jump out their whole
Yes,
skin. Like, bruh, like seriously,
yes.
it be like if you even don't be playing with.
And that's my point. And again, he's not homophobic at all. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, he ain't with the shits. And that's because that's the way, you know what I'm saying, they were taught. So just off the strength of that, because I know what is not so much the way it's supposed to be, that's why I would automatically, honestly, my first thought would be that, yeah, he's probably bisexual since he's engaging in that behavior with a woman. So he might like both. You know what I'm saying? That's why I would feel that way. Like I said, from my experience and what I know, you know what I'm saying, of men. And I have a lot of male friends. I haven't been with a lot of men, but I have a lot of male friends. And yeah, none of them are with the shits. Like that's a whole problem. That is a no-no. When
I
I get
love
down, girl,
Joanne,
I'm touching
man.
everything.
Joanne is off the chisel, off the chisel.
I'm not even in your league, queen. Do your thing. I'm not.
I turned
I'm
out
not
a
even
few.
mad at you. Do your thing. She who she got me thinking of right now. You Megan the Stallion right now. She a big old freak. She love to talk a stick. Hey, Joanne on that. I see you, girl. I hear you. I hear you. She said I'm
I
very
love it.
annoying.
I love it.
Hey. Express yourself, and that's the thing. You're supposed to be able to do that when you are with the person that you love, and you're supposed to be able to do whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? That y'all feel
Bring
makes
out the
y'all good,
whips
and that's
and
because
chains and the leather ropes and all of that, you know?
exactly. If you in that 50 shades of gray shit, do your thing. I see personally. Again, see that ain't for me. And that ain't for me.
Right.
I know some people that they cannot get off without all that extra shit. You got to whip them. You got to choke them mad hard. You got to do all types of stuff in order for them to get off. Now, for real, for real. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I mean? And again, what you do in your bedroom is nobody's business. Like, if you looked at me just from me being, my personality, you would not know how you know what I'm saying? I'm a different person when I'm having sex. I'll just say that. You know what I'm saying? There are certain things that, that arouse me that most people think that shouldn't, because of who I am and all this other stuff. But like I said, what I do in the bedroom with my man is what we do. And you know what I'm saying? It's
Right.
my job to please him, just like it's his job to please me. And I love him, so I'm going to you know what I'm saying? I have my limits, of course, but you know what I'm saying? I'm willing to try just about anything, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? So we can keep that spice going, because that's what we do. You know what I mean? So again, but that's none of y'all business. So, you know what I'm saying? I don't need to, disclose all of that. You know what I mean? So you don't need to know those things, because
Right.
that doesn't affect you. What I'm doing in my bedroom does not affect you. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I
Right.
feel you, on what you were
But
saying
this is what
about,
I am gonna say. You know what I'm saying? But when what we do in our bedroom can affect other people is when we choose, you know what I'm saying, to be dishonest and disloyal. And so like today y'all might have saw, and I'm just gonna throw this little plug in there real quick, plump. Like, and cause we again we all have our views and perspectives, you know what I'm saying? Even when we come like to what I'm about to mention right now is HIV, right? And knowing and understanding that regardless of how we feel about it or what we know to be true about it, like it exists. It's in our community, like it's spreading rapid, you know what I'm saying? And there are all types of new things coming up around and about it. However, today was National HIV/AIDS Testing Day. All right, so all I'm saying is I just encourage us as melanated people to make sure that we're going and we're getting tested. You know what I'm saying? That we know our status and that we're taking the necessary precautions to prevent this from happening, even if it's just something as simple as us changing and altering our diets and lifestyles, you know what I'm saying, to make sure that our immune systems are in a high healthy state to be able to combat and fight off these things when we come in contact with them, so just keep that in mind, because if they can tell me that they have a thing now on TV, I forget the official name of the pill, but the prep, which is supposed to you take it to prevent actual infection, but you're telling my people that there's not a cure for this thing when we know better. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I'm walking a
Mhm.
thin line even when I be talking about this stuff like on the air. Nevertheless, just know like we're smarter than that, and truth heals, and we have the tools and resources available to heal ourselves, all right? So don't just fall for the okey doke, all right? Like, let's take care of ourselves, let's heal ourselves. Even if we are in these heterosexual or homosexual relationships, like, let's do our best to minimize our partners, be open and honest, with the partner or partners that we do have about what it is that we're doing so
Mhm.
that they can do what they need to do for themselves as well. So at the end of the day, it's all about having healthy communication, having healthy discussions and conversations, you know what I'm saying, so that we can go forward and continue to be healthy individuals and healthy beings so that our families and our communities can do the same. Because, I mean, it's a war going on, and we already know who the target is, and it's no need for us to continue to say it. So it's time for us to arm ourselves and do what we need to do for ourselves because nobody else is going to do it.
Well, I have 2 points that then popped up with you saying that. My first point is, I don't like the fact that when we talk about homosexuality, the first thing that comes to our mind is HIV. because it has been said, it has been put on their community that they're the reason why this is going on, and that's not a fact. The fact is it was made in a laboratory, you know what I'm saying, and it was distributed. That has nothing to do, again, because like we were saying earlier, heterosexuals have anal sex too. So if you're going, that's the only way that you connect, homosexuality with that, is because that's the way that they have sex. Well, we do it too. So it has nothing to do with you being homosexual. As a matter of fact, what's that guy? What's that Tamahu dude that was going around giving people HIV? He has that syndicated show. Yeah, no, he's not even a porn star. Oh, what was this man's name? Charlie Sheen.
Oh yeah.
Whole heterosexual male
winning.
Was going
but
around.
He ain't winning though.
Right, exactly. So he was going around, infecting people. So we don't need to associate. HIV is a societal issue. You know what I'm saying? It has nothing to do with your sexuality. It doesn't matter who you sleep with, you can catch that shit. Period.
Right, so especially when you look at the statistics and you look at the numbers, the data, since we want to be all scientific, like African American women, and more specifically heterosexual African American women, are number one, for infections. So what does that say?
And then, they're going to try to
on top of that, when you add in the factors that they say that we are the most cautious, and the most proactive when it comes to our health and our sexual health. So what I ain't gonna get into my little theories, you know what I'm saying? Because this is a whole conspiracy out here. But
I'm gonna give my theory in it because it ties into the other point I wanted to make about being honest with yourself. A lot of the times what they say is the reason why we have it is because a lot of our husbands are on the down low and they're bringing that back to to their wives because they don't use condoms and things of that nature. So that's what they say. So it all starts with and stems from accepting yourself for who you are, because a lot of men and a lot of men, they marry because society tells them that they can't be successful, that whatever industry that they're in, they will that will mess up their career if they are themselves. So they put up this facade and they find women that they are not in love with, and just for this look. And the women don't understand this until they're in it. And then you got to bring religion into that. You're not supposed to get a divorce. It's supposed to be to the end and all of that stuff. So they stay.
And now we got kids and the kids, and we gonna
we got kids, right? So at the end of the day, it all starts with being truthful with yourself. And that takes me what I didn't say about transgenders. That
I think you did a little bit about the alternate and relative realities, like.
But not with them not being honest with their partners. If I was trying to.
Oh, yeah, like what is that about? Yeah, like they get a kick out of tricking people.
That's an issue, and that's what I wanted to talk about, because it is, again, you have a right to feel how you feel about who you are, but you don't have the right to trick somebody, into falling in love with you, thinking that and I'm going to give you an example with myself. I have one arm, okay? I have a prosthesis. I know y'all seen the movie, I'm Gonna Get You Sucker. If you black, I know you seen the movie. And there's a scene, it's hilarious. But he sat this bar, brings this woman up at the red dress, brings them up to the room, and she just starts pulling off her limbs, her hair, her boobs. Everything on her was fake. And the look on that, and look on what's the name's face was crazy, like, what the fuck? Because she was literally a whole lie. That's one of the reasons why I don't wear prosthesis. Now, if I had some bionic shit, I ain't gonna front, yo. I'd be iRobot in this bitch, like, for real. But I'm not going to use a prosthesis, for a look, because that's why they made it for me, so it could be cosmetic. Nah, I'm not trying to be that chick. If you like me or you're interested in me, you're going to be interested in me as an amputee woman, not someone that you thought had two hands, Then you find out when we take all my clothes off that you got to pull this thing off and untie it, and you know what I'm saying, set it to the side and do all this other stuff before we get into it. You know what I'm saying? I didn't do that because I didn't want anybody to try to hurt my feelings, because they would be well in their right to spaz on me for tricking them into thinking that. So that's why I
But
made it
see,
my
and then this
business
is
to
the
show
thing,
who I am.
right?
So wait, let me
Like,
finish. Let me finish.
I even
Let me finish.
saw, I forget what TV show I was watching, but like them and like they other transgender friends, like they get a kick out of, like, it's almost like a competition, you know what I'm saying, to see how many people they can go out to the club, you know what I'm saying, and trick, you know what I'm saying, into sleeping with them, or just, you know what I'm saying, whatever the case may be. And it's like, but then, like you said, if this person was to spaz out on you, and when these people do spaz out on you, you know what I'm saying, because they find out what you really are and who you really are, and that you were deceitful and deceit, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's malicious, yo. Like,
It's a
that's some
lie. Yeah,
ill
it's a whole
intent.
lie.
Like, that's
That's a lie. And
premeditated. And so if this
yeah,
man decides to whoop your ass, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how you gonna be mad with that when you naturally a man? So
exactly.
you might as well just put your dukes up, you know what I'm saying, and square off, because you dead wrong, yo. Like, when we talk about what
Lie.
is being what is, like, facts, yo, like, you're wrong for that. Like, you shouldn't be out here doing that and then want to say, oh, well, we're people too, and we deserve to have rights. And you know what I'm
You
saying?
too.
No, yeah, we
No,
are
no.
all people and we all have rights, and we should disclose. You know what I'm saying? That's no different than our HIV status or whatever the case may be. We
Absolutely.
should disclose that to our partners,
Absolutely.
like, in advance, and not be on
Absolutely.
some misleading type stuff. Like, be honest with yourself.
This is what
And
I
it
would say
goes
that.
back to
And
say, are you even 100% comfortable with yourself as a transgender person? You know what I'm saying? Like, you did all of this and you went through all of these changes to still not be 100 with yourself?
and here's the thing. This is not even a transgender problem. This is a problem, a people's problem with your insecurities about yourself. Women do this all the time. We get with men knowing that we don't like certain things, but because we feel like we need to have a man, or we want somebody to love us, we will compromise on what it is we like or dislike just to be with somebody. And like I tell them, women, you don't want to be with nobody that doesn't want to be with you. Again, back to my example. I don't want to be with anyone that's not going to love me for the way that I am, one arm and all. If you don't love me like that, then I don't
Right.
need you in my life. So, as a
And I would
transgender,
say,
you should
I would,
not do that.
yeah.
You should want to be with someone who loves you for you and all of your transformation and all of that stuff. That person should, that's the type of love that you want. You don't want to trick nobody into loving you because it's not real. They're in love of what with the production that you made, not who you are. So that's going to fail anyway because you're not being, I don't understand, Pete, this human beings. Why would you want to be with someone that doesn't want to be with you? I say this about married couples. Women marry men that they know don't love them. You know for damn sure that man don't want to be with you, but you got to get that locked in. Why? Why
Because it
would you? I
goes
do
back to
not
what
want
we were saying about not knowing yourself, not being honest with yourself, and then too the whole feelings and emotions part. You know, so it's like we gotta stop operating so much out of feelings and emotions and having sex for pleasure,
to.
because then we end up, you know, tricking people into having babies, like, so they can be in our lives and we can be in relationships with them. And it's like, men trap women into having babies just like men feel like women trap them into having babies. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, yo, it's okay to be by yourself. Like, once we can learn to operate solo dolo without anybody else, and that doesn't mean that you're just so independent, you don't need anybody else, you know what I'm saying? But when you truly learn the beauty and value, the essence of being with yourself and knowing yourself, you know what I'm saying? Then we'll just be like, okay, I'm cool. When they come, they come. If they come, they come. Maybe it ain't even this lifetime when they come, and I'm chilling right now. You know what I'm saying? And when they get here, I'll be ready because I'm working on me. Like you should always be your number one project.
That's right. At all times. We
Yeah.
don't do that though. We, especially for women, we truly based our happiness, our worth on the relationships that I know so many successful women that feel like because they're not married with kids that they're unaccomplished. That
Right.
everything that their life path that they have been doing means nothing if they're not Mrs. Something or Mrs. Somebody. And that's not cool. And that's not true. You know what I'm saying? Not at all. I'm a living example. I mean, my life isn't over yet, so I don't know. I may have children in the future. I may get married in the future. I don't know. But by no means at 34 is my life unfulfilled because I don't have those things. I used to feel that way. I
Right.
definitely used to feel that way. You know what I'm saying? But I have a purpose and you know what I'm saying, and
Right.
I'm living that. And that's what's
Because that
important. I
again
honestly,
goes back to us living according to society standards and what society has deemed as norm and as, you know what I'm saying, the right
mhm,
way to do or what success looks like. And we have to start redefining that and reshaping, like, and creating our own level and measure of success. You know, like we can
mhm,
define our own merit, you know, for our lives and what our standards are for, you know, success and things of that nature, and stop trying to live up to somebody else's standards because we'll never like achieve them. Like we'll never completely 100% achieve our own. So why not focus on reaching the standard that you're setting for yourself as opposed to the one that somebody else is telling you you should be trying to accomplish, because you out of your lane, you're out of your limits. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to get in inner limits. Like that used to be one of them little like sci-fi shows that came on. You know what I'm saying? Like the outer limits, but we got to get into the inner limits.
mhm.
You know, because we stay out too
All
much.
sorts of stuff. It all starts with self. At the end of the day, all of this, whether it be you are heterosexual, sapiosexual, homosexual, it all starts with self. It's all about understanding self. And that's where inner peace comes from. That's where
Hmm.
success comes from. That's where my art comes from. Just being in tune with who you are. And when you're in tune with who you are, what other people think doesn't matter. So that would stop the, like for instance with me, like I'm super duper pro black, all of that, all about my African spirituality and all of that stuff. But I can still roll in other, you know what I'm saying, groups and, you know what I'm saying, other circles. And I don't have to just walk around, huh, black, 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 black on black, black. I don't have to act like that around, you know what I'm saying, around other people because I am who I am. I dress how I dress. I speak how I
Hey,
speak. But I don't have
big
to
facts.
overly do that. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to overly do that because I'm in tune with who I am. I have no reason to have to overly show you who I am. Only people that do that are still trying to figure themselves out. You trying to tell yourself who you are, not necessarily
Right.
other people.
Because even though
So
I'm kind of a big deal, like I act so basic, like I be trying to be in the shadows as much as possible. It's
show
like,
enough, show enough, show enough. That's a
but
whole
it's
fact.
like, and
A
it's
whole fact.
exactly what you say though. Like even when we walk into rooms, because you've taken that time with yourself, and because you're confident in who you are and what you represent, because representation does matter. You know, like people will automatically like gravitate towards you if they're supposed to gravitate towards you. People will automatically like respect you in your position just as a being, like regardless, like head covered, uncovered. Like when people see me come through, they like everything just shifted and changed. Like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
even today, I was holding a conversation with these people. Some of them I work with, they've seen me around, you know what I'm saying? Others didn't know me from a fly on the wall, you know what I'm saying? But it's like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think you need to go in, you know, like do a cleanse for them and help them get their auras and chakras together. And I'm just sitting there like,
They
you
see your
don't know nothing
vibe.
about me,
They
bro.
see
Who
it.
are you? And she just like,
They
well, you
see
know,
it.
when the universe and God is this, and I was just like,
Right.
yeah, today's
So
one of
true.
those days. You know what I'm saying? Like,
That is so true. And I'm gonna say one last thing with myself about this, and yeah, we've been talking for 2 hours. We be getting it in. But like with myself, you know what I'm saying? Like as an amputee, just like the homosexual community, there's a whole amputee community. They have their own names and all that too. You got your uppers, you know what I'm saying? Your lower knee this, and because there's different sizes to stumps and things of that nature. And that's how they identify themselves. Just like you guys with you, I'm a lesbian, I'm gay, I'm queer, I'm this, I'm a bottom, I'm a top. So they have their
Right, you got your
own
chubby
life,
chasers. You got, you know what I'm
all
saying?
of that.
Like,
They got all of that stuff there. But I identify myself as a human. So I don't overly push me being an amputee. As a matter of fact, in the wintertime, if I got on a coat and stuff like that, you won't know I'm an amputee unless I tell you. Most people don't notice my arm when they meet me because I don't lead with little ma. I am a person. I am Tamara. I am Plump Queen. So that's who I present to myself. When I was in Flint, Michigan, we had saw this professional female boxer while we were out there. I believe she's from Flint. So she was out there campaigning, I think. So she's giving people firm handshakes. Everybody that she met, she gave me her hand and shake my hand, and she felt a little disrespected because I gave her my left hand instead of mine, because it's supposed to be your right hand is the way you're supposed to shake. That's the way it's supposed to go. But because I was just with a group of people, you know what I'm saying? I shook her hand and she just kind of mumbled under her breath to let me hear like that was the wrong hand and went on. So when she rolled back, you know what I'm saying? I said to her, because I didn't want her to think I disrespected her. So I was like, well, I'm sorry, but this is the only hand I had to give you. And she looked at me and looked down and she was like, she was like, yo, I'm so sorry, grabbed my hand and started shaking it again and just like, yo, I didn't even notice that. I am so sorry. I'm like, nah, no, it's no sorry. It's actually a good thing that you didn't notice. Because everyone sees me as a person. They don't see me as an amputee. And I would like our homosexual sisters and brothers to understand that. You want people to see you as a person. Your sexual orientation comes second to who you actually are. Just be you. Just be a person. You know what I'm saying? That's all you need to be. You shouldn't
that's
have to
it.
just completely be identified, you know what I'm saying, with your sexual preference. You know what I'm saying? That kind of limits you in a lot of ways because people are prejudiced. People do have their own thought processes
Right,
about certain things. So if you lead with just yourself, no one's going to worry about that. I can
right.
promise you. I'm
That's like,
telling you what I
even
know.
though we're women, it's not like, oh yeah, I'm a woman and my name is Jaffe. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm next, like, nah, it's that first. Like you say, I'm a being first. And those are attributes or qualities or traits or characteristics that help to make me who I am. However, you know what I'm saying? It's not like, oh, well, I'm a radio personality. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I don't
Right.
know. Like, it's just weird.
Right.
It's,
Now we got to get a self, and I think that's what this is really all about. It's really about getting with self and understanding you. When you understand
yeah,
you know what I'm saying. You tend to have the perception to want to understand others because you have to put in yourself in other people's shoes. How would I feel if someone was coming at the way I do things? I personally feel like the way I do things is right. How would I feel if someone kept telling me that who I am ain't shit?
right,
How would you feel about that?
right. And it's
We have to
because we
do
put
unto
such a
another.
major emphasis on it. You know what I'm saying? And kind of like I said on the show earlier, and we can wrap this up. But I was talking about how families, right? Because I saw one of the sisters earlier in the comments was like she's worried about raising her kids. You know what I'm saying? Her kids growing up in this world. Don't don't be nervous. You know what I'm saying? Like your children are gonna be who your children are supposed to be. And all we can do as parents, as guides, as leads, is to make sure that they know who they are. You know what I'm saying? For
Mhm.
themselves, regardless of what that looks like sexually, like they know who they are, they know what their purpose is, and that we give them the tools and resources needed to fulfill their purpose, right? And so it's like we have these children and we are nervous for them and we love them, and we nowadays it's like, oh no, my child better not grow up being like that. But I remember when it was like, oh, I just want my child to come here happy, healthy, with 10 fingers and 10 toes, you know what I'm
Yep,
saying, with all of
exactly.
his organs and stuff intact. And now it's like, oh, I want my baby to come out straight. Like what? Like what? Why does that matter? Oh, if my child was ever to be like, I'm gonna, bro, this is an extension of you. You know what I'm saying? Like this is a manifestation of
Whole
you.
back,
This is a
whole
reflection of
back,
you. Like this is your energy. This is your blood. This is you. So you're
all
gonna
day.
tell me that you're not gonna love this part of yourself if for whatever reason one day they grow up and decide that they want to do something outlandish with their sexual organs. Like I don't. And at one point in time, it was like I saw myself in that same boat. However, as I learn and as I grow as a spiritual being, you know what I'm saying, in this physical world, is that hey man, like people are gonna be who people are,
Yes,
but
they
I'm not
are.
gonna deny my child love and affection and just me as their mother because
All
this
back.
is what I
I
produce.
created.
Like
Yeah, you created that all day. You created that all day.
whether
And
it's
they are
some
a
type of
reflection of
chemical
you.
imbalance, whether it's some type of mental something,
Mhm.
whether it was some type of social exposure, whatever the case may be, like we gonna work through this together because we're family and this is what we do. Like, and you're gonna know, like, hey, it's
That
okay
would
to be
eliminate
yourself. It's
a
okay to
lot of
be
the stuff. That would eliminate a lot of the stuff that people don't like. Again, if you accept most of them that are very flamboyant is because they don't have anybody to love them for who they are, so they have to love themselves and they have to overly show that. So again, let people be who they are. And again, I always say this too. What you talk about most, what you think about most is what you manifest. So if you're a heterosexual, you should not be concerned too much with what homosexuals are doing. If that's on your mind, you're going to manifest that into your life.
in
It's
some
the
shape,
biggest
form, or fashion.
homophobe. It's
It's
the
gonna come
biggest
to life.
homophobe that ends up their children being that way because you're so homophobic. You was just so. I tell you all the time. Don't be anti. Be pro. When you are anti something, you are asking for it. You are telling the universe that's what you want because you keep talking about it and you keep thinking about it. If that's not your lifestyle, that shouldn't cross your mind like that. And again, it says a lot about you, and this is what I'm saying. If you are heterosexual and you're so focused and so homophobic about that, 9.5 times out of 10, you got tendencies. You're fighting your reflection. The things that we don't like in others are reflections of what's inside of us. That is a fact. That is nature. So, if you are steadfast, you know what I'm saying, in who you are, you should not be worried about what other people are doing because you're telling on yourself. You are cosmically telling on yourself. Everything that I get angry about is an insecurity or something that, you know what I'm saying? And I recognize that. That's why I ain't got no issues, you know what I'm saying, with the LGBTQT community. I have no issues with that because I know who I am. I used to be a part of a dance
Right.
group and I was the only heterosexual. Everybody else was lesbian. I was the only heterosexual dancer in there. And it was no problem because they understood me. They knew who I was. I knew
Right.
who they was. They knew I wasn't about that shit, so they didn't come with me with that. They just respected that I was a dancer and I was, what I'm saying, from the neighborhood and all of that. They respected, you know what I'm saying, who I was because I knew who I was. I'm gonna tell you this one little last story and then we're gonna go. So, homegirl, dance group. I was in a dance group one time. We had it was after practice And a friend of mine, she knew a couple of people that was in the, I'm gonna say the sexual industry, and they were not porn stars. I'm gonna just say that. But they was
Okay.
in the sex industry, okay? So one of the women was there. I was there, kind of just putting some stuff together for the dance, but this is my homegirl's personal situation going on. And the girl was trying to size me up. She wanted to pretty much teach me to get into the game, right? Yeah, one of them. I was
She was gonna
18 years
initiate you,
old.
Plum.
She was, you know what I'm saying? And it wasn't even about being homosexual. It was honestly about being, you know what I'm saying? What do they call them? Almost like prostitution. You know what I'm saying? She thought I was young or whatever and thought
Oh,
that she
like sex
can,
workers.
yeah, like it was that type of situation. It wasn't even about being homosexual. Now it had to do with that. Yeah. So she thought I was cute. She saw I was young. I can dance. She was watching me dance, so she see I got moves. So yeah, all I gotta do is get in her head, and you know what I'm saying, or whatever, whatever. Yeah, see, nah, see the people that I was around me, that you know what I'm saying, peeped that and shut that all the way down. She was like, "Yo, leave her alone." No, I was
Right.
just talking
Calm
to her.
down, shut.
Leave her alone. She's not
Right.
about that life. And I'm just sitting there like,
What I do?
yeah, what am I supposed to say? You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not the type of person to get offended and be like, what the fuck? How you gonna say so? How you go? I wasn't like that. I didn't know what to say. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't know what to say. I didn't want to be disrespectful or nothing like that, but my peoples know me. They know the energy that I get off. So they shut that down. Nah, son, you take that over there and you leave her alone.
Right.
Because I know who I am and I exude that. So that is what I'm going to leave everybody with. Be yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Get in tune with yourself. None of these issues will mean anything or even matter if you were in tune with yourself. You wouldn't care about what people think about you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Lead with being a being. You know what I'm saying? Let people love you and care about you for you being a being, not being gay, being a lesbian, being this, or being heterosexual, or being an amputee, or, you know what I'm saying? Whatever it is, let people and show people who you are as a being. Because, like you said
Right.
earlier, this is just a shell. This is just a
Yeah.
shell. Who you are is your soul. That's who you truly are. So focus on that.
I
Any
agree.
last words? Goddess of
Yeah. In the
information?
words of one of my college homies, like, go where you're celebrated, not where you're tolerated. You know, Eh, point blank, period, straight like that. Once you get in tune with yourself, you love yourself, you know yourself, you free yourself. Like, go where you're celebrated, not where you tolerated. You know, like point blank, period.
I love that. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this conversation. Appreciate you giving me all your time and energy. We've definitely been on here for 2 hours. Love, love, love y'all. And we're going to come back with this divine feminine discussion where AMPspirationTTV and V.O.I.C.E.S Radio collide. We love, love, love y'all. Always
Peace,
stay
love,
tuned, love
divine
and
life.
light. And y'all have a good one. We out. Peace.
Peace.